So it has got 7 valence shell electrons, isn't it? So where exactly can you find fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine? All of the halogens will show -1 oxidation state. To form the bond, it will show +1 oxidation state, or it completely takes up as we come down the group, the number of shells added is more. Hello my dear students, welcome back to the session 9 on the chapter P block elements. Last class we studied about sulfur dioxide, manufacture of sulfuric acid by contact process. Also we learnt about oxo acids of sulfur, isn't it? Today we will start with the next group, that is group 17 elements. So which are the elements in group 17? We have 5 elements, that is fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. Out of this, astatine is the one which is radioactive. So we will be learning more about only the 4 which is there, that is fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. This family is also called as halogen family, or this group is also called as halogens, isn't it? The elements in this group have 7 valence electrons. So we will see about it here. In the electronic configuration, we have fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. The atomic numbers are here, that is 9, 17, 35, 53 and 85. So here this is the electronic configuration, this is with the inert gas core. So I shall explain with the inert gas core. You can see 2s2, 2p5. So there are how many electrons in the second shell? There are 7 electrons. Similarly here also there are 7 electrons. The valence shell again has 7 electrons. Here also it has got 7 electrons. So it has got 7 valence shell electrons, isn't it? So the general configuration, how can I write? General electronic configuration I can write, it is Ns2 Np5, that is for the valence shell. This is the general electronic configuration. Now if you observe, one more electron if it takes up, one more electron, it has got 7 electrons in the valence shell. So if it takes up one more electron, they will reach octet configuration, isn't it? So they have a very high electron gain enthalpy, and ionization enthalpy also will be very high. They do not want to lose electrons because it's easy for them to take up an electron than losing an electron. So about the properties I shall explain in detail. Before that we learn about the occurrence. So where exactly can you find fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine? Fluorine and chlorine are quite abundant compared to that of bromine and iodine. Fluorine you can see as fluorides, that is you can see as fluorospar, cryolite or fluorapatite. Okay. It is also present in small quantities in soil, river water and bones and teeth. Whereas sea water contains chlorides and bromides and iodides of all of this, that is sodium bromide, sodium iodide, sodium chloride. Then you have, it can be potassium iodide, potassium bromide or magnesium iodide or magnesium bromide, calcium bromide, etc. So you can see chlorides, bromides and iodides of sodium, potassium, magnesium and calcium in seawater. Okay. Next is, seawater mainly contains what? Sodium chloride, and seaweeds contain 0.5% of iodine. Okay. How much? 0.5% of iodine is present in seaweeds. Okay. Next, chili saltpeter contains little of iodine as sodium iodide. Okay. So that is the occurrence of halogens. Next is about the oxidation state. As I told you, they like to take up an electron. It is easy for them to take up an electron than losing electrons. Thus, all of the halogens will show -1 oxidation state. But then fluorine can show only -1 oxidation state, whereas chlorine, bromine and iodine can show +1, +3, +5 or +7 oxidation state in addition to -1. Chlorine, bromine, iodine can show -1 oxidation state. Along with that, it will show +1, +3, +5 or +7 oxidation state. That I shall explain using this. See, halogen atom in the ground state other than fluorine. So, this is not for fluorine. This is only for chlorine, bromine and iodine. Okay. So, NS2, NP5. Correct, no? NS2 electrons are there, NP5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 electrons are there. So, if it takes up one more electron or it can use this electron for formation of the bond, it will show -1 or +1 oxidation state, the one which is unpaired. So, if this is shared to form the bond, it will show +1 oxidation state, or it completely takes up one electron, it will show -1 oxidation state. So, this can be for, actually this can be even for fluorine, okay, but not +1, -1 oxidation state, because it is highly electronegative in nature. Next, the first excited state, if you see, one electron from the p orbital has jumped here. I will show here, it has jumped to the vacant d orbital. Now, how many unpaired electrons are there? 3 unpaired electrons are there. So, it can show +3 oxidation state. Okay. Now, one more electron which is there in the p orbital will jump to the vacant d orbital. Now, how many unpaired electrons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, it can show +5 oxidation state. Now, from the s orbital also the electrons can jump into the vacant d orbital. If it does so, then how many unpaired electrons will be there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, 7 unpaired electrons are there. So, it can show +7 oxidation state. Now, all of this +3, +5 and +7 can be shown only by chlorine, bromine and iodine, because it has got vacant d orbital in their valence shell. Fluorine does not have vacant d orbital, isn't it? Fluorine, if I write the electronic configuration, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. So, does the second shell have a d orbital? No. As it does not have d orbital, fluorine will show only -1 oxidation state. It is easy for it to accept an electron. Then, donate, or as there is no d orbital, vacant d orbital, it will not show all of these oxidation states. So, I hope you have understood. Further, higher oxidation state is achieved only by chlorine, bromine and iodine. Halogens combine, okay, these halogens, that is chlorine, bromine and iodine, can combine with highly electronegative elements like fluorine itself. So, chlorine can combine with fluorine, or bromine with fluorine, or iodine with fluorine. Such compounds are called as interhalogen compounds, and we will be learning about this in detail. Okay. Now, these 3 elements can also combine with oxygen to form oxides, or oxo acids can be formed. So, they will react with more electronegative element. These are not highly electronegative. There are some elements which is even more electronegative, isn't it? So, it will combine with them to form interhalogen compounds, oxides or oxo acids. Chlorine and bromine not only shows +3, +5 and +7. Along with this, it can show +4 and +6 oxidation state in oxides and oxo acids. Okay. Also, due to the absence of d orbital, fluorine cannot expand its octet and show all these oxidation states. It can show only -1 oxidation state. So, that is about the oxidation state of halogens. Next, we are going to study about trends in physical properties. The first one being atomic radii. So, as we come down the group, we have fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. isn't it? So as we come down the group, what will happen? Atomic radii increases, isn't it? Atomic radius will increase. Why? As we come down the group, the number of shells added is more, isn't it? We observe that in the electronic configuration. So the atomic radius is also bigger. Now, what about the ionic radii? Ionic radii also will increase as we come down the group. Coming to ionization enthalpy. Ionization enthalpy means the amount of energy required to remove the outermost electron. But halogens have a very little tendency to lose an electron, because if it gains up an electron, it will get octet. So it is easier to gain an electron than lose an electron. But as we come down the group, ionization enthalpy decreases. Why it decreases? Because the atomic radius is increasing, it becomes a little easier to remove the electron, and thus ionization enthalpy will decrease down the group. Next trend is electron gain enthalpy. As I told you, halogens have the maximum electron gain enthalpy, because if it takes up an electron, it will attain octet configuration or a noble gas configuration. So they have maximum negative electron gain enthalpy in a given period. So if you take every period, if you take the maximum negative electron gain enthalpy, that is the amount of energy released is very high when it takes up a electron. But what happens as we come down the group? That is fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine I have, isn't it? So what happens as we come down the group? Down the group when we come, electron gain enthalpy, that is the negative value, decreases. That is because of the size. The size of the atom is increasing. Thus the extra electron when it is added, lot of effective nuclear charge experience will be lesser, and the amount of heat liberated also will be lesser. So as we come down the group, what happens? The negative electron gain enthalpy decreases. The negative value goes on becoming lesser and lesser. That means fluorine should have the maximum electron gain enthalpy. Do you all agree? Yes, but it is not so. Chlorine is the one which is having the maximum negative electron gain enthalpy. And why is it so? That is because fluorine, if you consider, this is the nucleus, it has got 2 electrons, then the next shell it has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if it has to take up one more electron, correct? So one more electron when it takes up, the amount of energy released is called as the electron gain enthalpy. But as the shell is smaller, it is the second shell, it is the smaller shell, and there is already a lot of electrons in that. There are 7 electrons in that. When one more electron comes, there will be repulsion. And due to the repulsion, some amount of energy is utilized to overcome the repulsion and then accept this electron. Thus, the electron gain enthalpy is not maximally negative. Chlorine has got maximum electron gain enthalpy. Chlorine, it is the third shell, it is the bigger shell, isn't it? Thus the electron can be accepted easily because it will not be repelled to an extent as it is repelled in fluorine. In fluorine, some amount of energy is utilized to overcome this repulsion only. Okay, then it has to be accepted, isn't it? Thus fluorine has lesser electron gain enthalpy compared to that of chlorine. So I hope you have understood about the electron gain enthalpy. Next is about the oxidizing ability of halogen. The oxidizing ability means how good oxidizing agent it is. So what happens as we come down the group, the oxidizing ability decreases. That is because of the size again. Okay, so what happens? First it is in the gaseous state, it has to break this bond, XX bond has to be broken to form an atom, then it has to take up an electron, then water of hydration, it goes to the aqueous state. So here there is a lot of energies which is required, thus it is decreasing as we come down the group. That is the oxidizing ability. If you see, fluorine oxidizes water to oxygen, whereas chlorine and bromine react with water to form hydrohalic acid and hydrohalous acid. What happens? Fluorine will react with water to get converted into oxygen. You can see here, fluorine with water, it will form H plus ion, F minus ion, and oxygen is liberated. Okay, whereas chlorine and bromine, okay, reacts with water to form hydrohalic acid or hypohalous acid. Okay, the reaction of iodine with water is non-spontaneous. Iodine does not react with water directly. Then how does iodine react? Iodide ion. Okay, if there is an iodide ion, that is in aqueous medium, if it is there, it will react with oxygen in the presence of acid. What is it? It reacts with oxygen in acidic medium to give iodine and water. But the reverse reaction is not possible. You can see, iodine does not react with water, but iodide reacts with oxygen in acidic medium to give iodine and water, and reverse reaction is not possible. Whereas fluorine, if you see, it is exactly reverse of this reaction. You can see fluorine with water will form H plus ion, F minus ion, and oxygen is liberated. Correct? So, fluorine reacts with water to liberate oxygen. Chlorine and bromine does not react with water to liberate oxygen, but it will form a hydrohalic acid or hypohalous acid. Whereas iodine does not react with water. It is a non-spontaneous reaction. But if there is an iodide ion, it reacts with oxygen in the acidic medium to form iodine and water. Reverse reaction is not possible. Okay, so that's about the oxidizing ability. Next we have the physical state. So here, between the molecules of halogen, there is a weak intermolecular force of attraction, that is van der Waals attraction. So most of them are volatile in nature. If you see, chlorine and fluorine are gases, bromine is a fuming liquid, and iodine is a volatile solid. That is because the van der Waals force of interaction is less. But as we come down the group, it goes on increasing. That's why the first two are gases. Bromine is a fuming liquid, whereas iodine is a volatile solid at room temperature. Now, what about their melting point and boiling point? That gradually increases as we come down the group. Okay. Next is, halogens are colored. That is, they absorb the radiation of a particular wavelength and the electrons can get excited. Due to this, they will show some color. That is, fluorine is F2 is pale yellow, chlorine gas is greenish yellow, bromine is reddish brown, and iodine is deep violet. Now, fluorine and chlorine reacts with water. Bromine and iodine are sparingly soluble in water, but it is soluble in organic solvents like CH3, CCl4, CS2, etc. to give colored solutions. Okay, so that's about the physical state. Next is anomalous properties of fluorine. That is the first element in the group, and in P block elements, what have we learned? The first element in that group has got anomalous properties. Why anomalous properties? That is because of the small size, high electronegativity, low FF bond dissociation enthalpy. That means small amount of energy is enough to break this bond. Okay, and absence of d orbitals in the valence shell. Now, which are the anomalous properties shown by fluorine? Fluorine, here you can see, most of the reactions are exothermic reactions. Also, fluorine gives only -1 oxidation state. They will not form oxo acids very easily. So, we do not have oxo acids of fluorine, and hydrohalic acid, which is liquid in room temperature. That is because of the strong hydrogen bond. It will form hydrogen bond in hydrogen fluoride. There is a hydrogen bond, due to which it is a liquid. in room temperature. So these are some of the anomalous properties of fluorine. More about the chemical properties of group 17 we shall learn in the next class. Also we learn about chlorine preparation and their properties. Okay. So that's about today. See you next class. Thank you my dear children. Stay tuned, stay focused.